Okay. She's thinking about it. She might buy it.
We'll buy the scratcher every once in a while, so
Oh yeah, that makes
maybe.
sense.
I
Well,
mean, the odds are still freaking terrible.
the odds are terrible, but if you win a lot. But then so you gotta give a lot back. I forget what the percentage is, but at 643, I think you still come away with a decent amount of money that you could live off of and everything. You spent some time in Denver, didn't you? Because apparently Denver council members are furious as a husband loses a job in a city layoff. So after 13 years with the city of Denver, employees react to layoff amid budget cuts and saying it's going to be tough. So I don't know how it was when you were there, but apparently, there's a lot of layoffs of folks. It looks like 171 employees and elimination of vacant positions as they're trying to cut their budget gap in half. So looks like there's got some economic stuff going on in your old neck of the woods of Denver.
Well, I grew up in Boulder, which is a much more liberal, community, which infuriated my dad. My parents were Republicans, and
Okay.
so my dad would try to get our dog to shit on the mayor's lawn. We lived a couple blocks from the mayor, and if the dog started pooping, he'd pull on the leash to get try to. So that was my dad's political protest. It was pooping
Pooping
until
on
the
the
mayor's.
pooping on the mayor's lawn and everything. That sounds like some interesting protest. It looks like Chicago schools are seeking $1 billion of short-term debt as cash is gone. So then they're in Chicago. They've got a $734 million budget deficit, which is looming over Chicago public schools. The first day of school, I know here in the Carolinas, I think school starts on Monday and everything like that. So definitely some people are concerned. Actually, that was one of the things that was up in our crime stats. I think property crimes were down, violent crimes were down here in North Carolina, but juvenile crime was up. So the juveniles are actually getting in trouble more than they used to, and all along those lines. So it'll be interesting to see what goes on that. And students are also in the news because the U.S. and this might be something that Dr. Sharif may be interested in, has revoked 6,000 student visas according to the State Department. So over 60,000 student visas were revoked for crimes and overstayed. So either there was crime involved or they overstayed the time that they were supposed to be here. So they yanked more than 6,000 student visas due to assault, burglary, support for terrorism, and like I said, there might have been some overstays in there as well. So are you suggesting to your students that they come to this area, Sharif? I can't hear you. I'm not hearing you. Still don't hear you. If
All
something
right,
like
so they revoked 6,000 student visas, but 1.1 million international
Can you hear me?
students um, are
yes,
are enrolled in the U.S. So 6,000 is about one half of 1%.
yeah,
So it's still like I'm sure the Trump administration will propagandize this, but one half of 1% is not a high crime rate among any demographic.
yeah, that's true. What's your take on that, Dr. Sharif? You
Yeah,
encourage your students?
this is interesting things. I request all of the students we should follow the rules definitely, law, rules, and regulation. We should not go for overstay or visa expiry on all of the things. I request especially the guardians, the students. You have to be very careful about the law, rules, and regulations. I think if it's happened for overstay and do not following the law, rules, and regulation, this is logical. USA can take the initiative. That is really logical. But definitely, I request. I see that many of the students actually rejected for F1 visa right now. Example from Bangladesh, or from India or some other countries. But I request those who are genuine students, those who have really has opportunity to contribute US economy and contribute for the US culture and all of the things. Uh, I think the US immigrations and all of the things, they should invite more international students. This is good for your economy.
Yeah, that's good. And definitely good for the economy, and definitely encourages a lot of folks to even stay here and do a lot of business. We know immigrants are very much an important part of the American society and everything like that. Hey, Rick, and even Jacoby might be interested in this as well because I hadn't got to this story yet, but I just saw it. The Justice Department is going to start sharing Epstein files with Congress on Friday. So today is Tuesday. So in 3 days, the Department of Justice will begin handing over Epstein files to Capitol Hill and all along.
I don't know what that means. Does that mean Congress will share anything with us, or will they sit on it? Like they've been sitting on this stuff for months and years already. When they say they'll be sharing files, will it be all the files, or it'll probably be cherry-picked files?
Right.
It sounds like something, but it's probably nothing.
Yeah, it's probably just a smoke screen and all along those lines. But
I looked into it to get ready for the show I did over the weekend. And so there were 1,000 victims of Epstein. That's a huge number. And we know not that much about how he was running a rape factory.
No doubt about that and everything. And this is for anybody. What is our thoughts around this notion of banning mail-in voting and voting machines? Because apparently that is something that he is floating out there. And
Trump's doing a lot of garbage to try to make sure that only the people who vote for him are able to vote. Mail-in voting has been proven to be completely legitimate and as free from fraud as any other form of voting. The Heritage Foundation, a very conservative think tank, the people behind Project 2025, have a voter fraud database, and they've been keeping this for decades. And over the past 4 decades in the United States, less than 1 vote in a million out of 2 billion votes cast this century in the U.S., fewer than 1 vote in a million is cast fraudulently. Trump is talking about preventing voter fraud. It's not. It's making it harder for demographics who tend to vote Democratic to vote. He wants to redo the census, leaving out people who aren't citizens, even though that's contrary to the Constitution. He wants to cheat, and he's taking lessons from Putin and cheating.
I agree. Can I just another thing? Are we saying that we don't believe Trump when he says that no other country has mail-in ballots voting? We don't believe him? I mean, or do we believe him? Is that true? Actually, it's not true. Another
I can just Google it.
Just bullshit. More bullshit. Many countries, including Canada, there's dozens of countries that democratic Western democracies use mail-in ballots. So when he says no other countries have mail-in ballots, it's bullshit. And the MAGA idiots believe him.
Yeah, I hear you. And speaking of stuff that you're into, John, I don't know enough about Canada, but I did see that apparently a conservative won in Alberta. And I want to say Alberta was one of those people that was talking about seceding. And I know we sometimes hear about seceding.
So he lost. He lost his seat when he lost to Carney, and a member of parliament in his party gave up his seat so that they can have an election. Of course, in Alberta, where there's a lot of conservatives. So he doesn't even live there. So it's a way for him to continue to be in politics, I guess, as part of the now opposition party.
I just looked it up. Dozens of countries around the world, including major Western countries, have mail-in voting.
Yeah, that's right. So the point I'm trying to make is Trump lies as much as the rest of us breathe.
Yeah, he lies, and he also does a lot of misstatements and everything. Hey, Jacoby, what did you think? Because some people were saying that it was a sign of another sign of dementia, another sign of him having issues remembering stuff. But other people said it was his way of being humorous, because he called the Republic of Congo the Republic of Condo, and we do know he's in the real estate field and everything like that. So was this another sign of dementia, or was this a sign of him just misspeaking and all along those lines? So what did you take of the Republic of Condo?
Trump said that he didn't have his license plate when he went to go vote. So I mean, had Biden done it, we would have run stories and stories and stories. Hey, Biden doesn't know what he's talking about. Trump does it. Hey, it's normal.
Yeah, the trouble with Trump is he said so much bullshit for so many decades that it's hard to tell the difference between dementia and just his normal off-the-cuff bullshit. Like he has lots of signs that he's a mess. He's 79 years old. He couldn't walk a straight line down the red carpet when he was greeting Putin in Alaska. Is that an issue, or is it just he's got these cankles, these swollen ankles, which are correlated with dementia? If you don't treat your swollen ankles by wearing pressure socks like I do, the blood's going to pool in your ankles. It's going to get clotty and beaten up. And then when it hits your brain, it's going to create mini strokes. But no, Trump is too lazy and vain, and you can't tell Trump anything. And so he's just going to have cankles, which will exacerbate any mental problems he's having.
And apparently he tried to find a way during the meeting with the leaders of Europe and Zelensky to hide those cankles. So they were talking about the way that he was, I guess, positioning himself and positioning his socks and shoes that he was trying to do.
Yeah, you don't hide them, you treat them. I had this issue with my dad, with my mother-in-law, like old people with cankles, with chronic venous insufficiency, don't want to wear the pressure socks. That they're uncomfortable and they're not pretty. But if you don't treat them, you get in huge trouble.
Yeah. Speaking of that, and this is for everybody on the panel and everything, as I kind of mentioned it when Nick was here yesterday and everything like that. But what is our thoughts around this merging alliance between China and India? Because apparently they're pledging to address India's rare earth needs, and definitely looks like they are trying to get together, because China and India should be partners, not adversaries, is what.
Well, they should. I mean, strategically, that makes a lot of sense. Between the two of them, they have a third of the world's people, 2.8 billion people. If India gets its crap together and teams up with China, then they will dominate the world. And we shouldn't want that. We should try to be, we shouldn't be tariffing the frickin' world. We should be engaging with the world, which we used to do. When we pull back from the world and the world's economy, China steps in. And then India will step in. India has huge problems politically, that they have a divided population full of, rancor and prejudice. But if they get their crap together and team up with China, then it just hastens the day when the U.S. becomes a formerly powerful, also ran country.
I know Sasha's not here, and if he was, he'd probably get upset for me for even bringing this up and everything along those lines. But what is our thoughts around this notion? I know that there used to be an old saying, an eye for an eye, and all along those lines, but apparently there's an ex-Israeli military intelligence chief that said that 50,000 Gaza deaths are necessary. So basically he's saying that the 50 Palestinians must die for every October 7th victim, which is actually more than an eye.
Right, so it's, the number of deaths in Gaza has now surpassed 62,000. Out of a population of roughly 2 million, where you're looking at 3%. One person in 30 or so has been killed in Gaza since Hamas invaded Israel and slaughtered 1,200 Israelis. But the Netanyahu has a coalition with the worst members of Israeli society, these ultra right-wing pricks who just want to kill every frickin' Palestinian and take all their land. And Netanyahu is in a coalition with those guys. And Netanyahu is prolonging the war because he's been on trial for the past 4.5 years for corruption. And if he leaves office, he's likely going to prison.
Yeah, that makes sense and everything. Hey, John, just one of those stories that I mentioned, but I don't really know that much about it because, like I said, I'm not in Canada. But what are folks talking about with this Air Canada strike, and how is that impacting y'all's getting around, or what are they saying in the news in Canada? Because apparently the Air Canada CEO was amazed, or at least he said he was amazed, by the union's defiance of the ruling to end the strike. So I guess the strike is still going on. So what is the word on the street?
I'm pro-union.
All right, so the flight attendant, being a flight attendant is a shitty, shitty job. It pays terrible, and you only get paid when you're in the air. Like if you're on the ground, tending to the people, if you've got some kind of tarmac delay for 3 hours, the flight attendants are dealing with all the passengers' BS. They're not getting paid. They only get paid when what kind of crazy job is that where you're working, but if the plane isn't flying, you're working for free? That is some crazy crap.
Well, like I said, I've always said the craziest job is the weatherman. The only job that I know where you get paid to be inaccurate probably about half the time, and all along those lines. But definitely, it seems like it's doing well so far. So they're doing much better with weather forecasting than they used to do and everything like that. But just really quickly, what's our take on these cities, and speaking of Trump and everything, that are now going to be under federal rule? Because it looks like there's going to be more. We got DC that is already under federal kind of like jurisdiction by the National Guard. We had LA where you are, Rick, and everything, and now there are 3 more GOP governors that are authorizing the deployment of the National Guard.
What cities specifically? Because LA LA has minority white people. Fewer than so far. Trump has been going after cities that have less than 50% white people, that have black mayors, that that are in Democratic areas. So is he going after any some of the most 8 out of the 10 most dangerous states in America are red states? Trump doing
these are red states as well, because the 3 Republican governors authorized the deployment of National Guard troops to Washington on Monday.
But those states,
it's all part of this crackdown on crime and boosting immigration.
But those governors.
Mississippi.
Hold on.
I'm going to tell you where they were. It's Mississippi, Tennessee, and Louisiana.
So those Republican governors are sending National Guard troops from their shitty, dangerous states to D.C. to just stand around in low crime areas of DC just for visibility. So you've got the National Mall. That's where all the national monuments are. You know, the Reflecting Pool, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Monument, all that stuff. They're parking their Humvees along there and are making a show of visibility. That is not a high crime part of. There's nobody to arrest for stuff on the National Mall. It's all for show. And it's just more freaking don't think about Epstein bullshit from Trump.
Yeah, in addition to Monday's announcement, West Virginia said it was deploying 300 to 400 troops. South Carolina pledged 200, and Ohio said it was
kissing Trump's. Washington has slightly higher than average, but it's not. Big U.S. cities are not dangerous for the most part.
Can we just be honest about it again? Can we just be honest? These places that are sending troops to help out Washington clean up, most of them have a higher crime rate than Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is a black city. They're sending people in there. Marjorie Taylor Greene put out a video talking about now that, hey, she's able to walk around Washington, D.C. freely now. She was able to do that before. My guess is the arrest rates would be higher amongst those of African-American descent than anybody else in Washington right now. So, and these cities that are coming in, yeah, it's just a show, and it's just it's adding on top of the, if you have melanin, you're not welcome.
Here's Steve Rao, who has melanin, spends a lot of time in D.C. Do you ever feel nervous about walking the streets of D.C.?
D.C. is pretty safe. I just wanted to chime in real quickly and say hi to everybody. Just a couple of updates before I head out today. But no, I feel a lot safer in D.C. than New York. But I think D.C. is also a cleaner city. But maybe I'm just talking about D.C. proper. Near the Capitol and all that, it looks to be good, and it's not as crowded That's one thing I've noticed from DC after COVID. But when you get to Northern Virginia and other pockets of DC, and I'm sure there's bad area of DC, but I don't get there too often. But I do think New York's gotten a lot dirtier. I did notice that this last trip. Just the streets are dirtier, a lot more crime, a lot of people screaming and shouting. You just get scared about, gun violence and drugs and things like that. And my main update today is, Trump said America would help guarantee Ukraine's security if it agreed to a peace deal with Russia. So it looks like he's doing everything he can to end the war. And the other thing that we haven't talked a lot about is India, and lots of concerns about where the U.S.-India relationship is headed after 50% tariffs. So I'm going to reach out to some of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to figure out what's going on with that. But a real negative development in the U.S.-India relationship. I don't know whether it's negotiating tactic for Trump. Modi was supposed to come here in September, but I wonder if he's going to cancel his trip at this point. But that's all I got for now.
My wife and I lived in New York City during a poor, kind of dirty time, and it was still a great city. It was the 80s.
Yeah.
There were crack vials everywhere. It smelled of pee. There were people barfed all over the place. It was kind of gross, but it was still like a super exciting, super fun city. Freaking
yeah, that it is. It wears you out. It's really busy, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to say hi, guys.
Hey, Steve, I know you got to run off and everything, but what did you think?
No, I wanted to come longer. I'm not feeling that well today. I have you can't see it, but I have an infection in my left eye. Gotcha. I'm in a lot of pain today. I don't know where it's coming from, but
I'm sorry to hear that.
Anyway.
What do you think of the Zelensky talk? And then I'll let you get off because I know you got to take your medication and get better and everything. But what did you think of the Zelensky talk with Trump, and how is your own campaign going?
Well, it looks like what did Zelensky say? He said he's looking forward to ending the war, right? Or does he not trust Trump? I can't remember.
I think that he said that he's open to those discussions and everything.
Yeah, I think he's open to it, and kind of a shift in foreign policy from Trump. It's a real surprise. Obviously, I think things aren't as good between him and Putin anymore. So let's just hope for a fair deal that can help Ukraine recover from this war, and I just hope that they can recover more than their fair share of territory and get back to enjoying their independence. In terms of my campaign, feeling a lot more confident. It's a long slog and 2 open seats to be commissioner of Wake County, but I think more and more institutional support coming my way. Just got endorsed by United States Congressman Ro Khanna, and now Raja Krishnamurthy from Chicago, who's running for the U.S. Senate. 2 of the senior guys of what we call the Samosa Caucus. So they're both coming here to hold some rallies for me. I'm going to be inviting all of you guys. That'll be exciting. And I don't know, Mark, I'm doing everything I can to spread the word out. And I'm either going to be a commissioner or a former council member with a hell of a lot more time on my hands. But I did get one of my articles published on Fox News on immigration. So I'm hoping that hits the national press and I can get on MSNBC. But yeah, I hit the news on Friday. So we're excited.
That's very good. And we've got a tough race here in Durham because the current mayor has got a upstart candidate in the former mayor, or one of the former mayor's daughter, and everything like that. And there are other candidates as well, but it definitely, I think it's going to come down to the 2 of them and everything like that. So it ought to be interesting to see what happens in our local politics as well.
I heard Leo is the front runner, right?
He is the front runner.
Yeah, I think he'll win.
Is your election in November of next
year? No, March.
Okay, all right. That's a little less crazy. It's still
I got some time, but I've been taking my time, and I was going to run again for my seat, but it just was too much to handle. So I'm going all in. I'm raising money. I'm getting out there, doing what I have to do, and we'll see what happens.
Do you do opinion surveys to see how?
Yes.
How you, and is that's got to be difficult to get people to answer a survey?
Yeah, well, there was some initial polling on my race and had me in the number 2 spot. And there's 2 seats. So it's a little bit easier than just running for 1 seat. But there's going to be another poll done, and then we'll have a better sense of where we are. And obviously, the radio and the TV does give me a little bit of an advantage from just that little bump in name recognition.
Right.
As you can't quantify it, but there's a dollar value in that. I think that helps when people turn on the TV and see you.
Are you thinking about doing crazy AI ads the way Newsom? Well, Trump has been doing this for years, and now Newsom has given him a taste of his own medicine, where he's putting out these AI graphics that show him all muscular and flexing and being a superhero. Are you going to go crazy with?
No AI ads.
No AI ads for Steve and everything. And by the way,
his eye will get better. I will be. I don't know. It's a weird eye infection. I've been getting a lot of styes this year inside my eye, on the lids of my eyes, and I don't know whether it's the heat or the stress. So I'm going to try to take a little bit of a slow day. Get my I've been going really hard, but I don't know whether it's the heat. But it's a really weird issue. It's like my second one.
It could be the heat in North Carolina, because I was watching the weatherman. They said that this is one of our mildest Augusts ever, because we had a couple of days of 90, but now it's going to be 80s all the way through the rest. So this is definitely considered a mild August, and part of that might be Aaron and some of the other storms that are going on. And to your thing that you just asked, Rick, the local election here in Durham is actually this year. So it's actually I believe in November and everything like that. But it definitely.
I'm going to run. I got to do a video shoot, but I'll try to be back tomorrow. And
okay, maybe even that.
Feel better.
We'll still do
I'm going to rest my left eye. Yeah, it's hurting a lot. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Get better.
We'll talk about India too next on the end of the week.
Yeah, you got to get some of your folks back on that are from.
Yeah, we're going to get some guests on. Well, I'll have a lot of time on March 4th.
Right.
One way or the other. Thank you.
One way or the other. Sounds good. Hey, John, got a question for you, because I know one of the issues that has come up here in the Carolinas, but even in California, is a lot of the old mall space. They don't know what to do with it, because that's been an issue here in Durham, North Carolina. And I was just wondering, what are y'all doing with your old mall space? Or do y'all have a lot of those super malls and like the walkable kind of mall environments, which is what they've been trying to build here and everything? So is the malls dead as they were in the Americas, well, in the United States, I should say?
So I have a small mall not too far from me. They're going to be keeping some of it, but some of it is going to be converted to condos. So there's a lot of real estate development going on in my neck of the woods. So anytime any land, because here it's quite the density is quite high, and people don't want to move out too much because that just increases commute times. So the city and the area is always trying to increase residential possible areas within the city and within the suburbs. So that includes malls, plazas, and developers are just buying, the land and then putting up either housing or condos.
The challenge is to convert retail space into residential space at a reasonable cost per square foot, and it's tough. I think the major issue is plumbing. That when you have a mall, like try to find a restroom at a mall. Unless you're going to go use a business and beg them to let you go into the back and pee, it's tough they're underplumbed.
We have no problems. There's lots of washrooms in our malls.
Okay, but if you're going to split it, if you're going to take a mall and cut it up into like 80 condos, and there were only like 8 bathrooms, now you got to plumb, you got to cut through concrete and run all sorts of pipe for another 70 some bathrooms plus kitchen sinks plus, so it gets pricey.
But what John just said is what we've been going through in both Durham and Raleigh, even down in Charlotte and a number of other places, because when they build the malls or when they convert the malls that are the smaller malls, they start to build up, and it's usually developers that are trying to do upbuilding and all along those lines, meaning they're trying to build up like skyscraper kind of stuff and all along those lines, which then the residents don't like and they fight against for a number of reasons. So
and there are regulations in certain parts of the city that so I guess in the suburbs they don't want that many high rise. So
no,
any condos are going to be 10 stories, 12 stories, that kind of deal.
I'm on a neighborhood council, and we don't want. I think we've got a height limit of 5 stories, and we don't want a bunch of tall stuff because then you end up with people's property. They bought a house, they spent a ton of money, then somebody across the street puts up a 10-story thing. That house is in shadow now all the time.
Right.
That's terrible. But I mean, there are places where you can put up, if you put up condos, the sun comes in from the south. So you want to put in the condos so the shadow of the sky, the tall building, you want to put it in on the side of the street so that the shadow into the street instead of onto houses. There are ways to do it responsibly.
Yeah, and the regulations, from what I see anyway in my area, it is being done responsibly.
It's tough. The further north you go, up in Canada, it's even tougher because the sun is lower in the sky, and so the shadows are longer. On the equator, nothing casts a freaking shadow. If you're building in Ecuador, everything's kind of easy.
That makes sense and everything. Coming back to international news, we got about another 15 minutes before we have to get to the Ukraine, Russia, China show and everything. But how are people got any concerns? Because I know that sometimes when Nick's here, he talks about the corruption of the Venezuelan government, and I know we oftentimes talk about what Trump is doing and everything like that. But what are our thoughts around Venezuela's president apparently deploying 4.5 million militia members, I guess, in response to what he feels is a threat from the U.S. because the U.S. warships approach the Caribbean waters and everything. So, and I guess folks are saying that his days are numbered and that he'll be dismissed one way or the other in the near future. But what is your take on this notion?
So the U.S. isn't the only country with a leader who does a lot of bullshit to distract people from their problems. So the Venezuela saying that the U.S. is going to invade is probably what Maduro is him saying, look over here. Don't look at my corruption. Don't look at my incompetence. Look at Trump and the U.S.
And Nick should spend a little more time looking at Trump's corruption.
Yeah, that's true because we've got plenty of corruption there and everything along those lines. I know you're going to be talking about it at your show in about 15 minutes, but what is your take, Sasha, on what has transpired in these discussions? It looks like there might be the possibility of a ceasefire. That's what we were just saying. Apparently, Zelensky is open to it, and there's talk of a Zelensky-Putin meeting that Trump is trying to broker and everything like that. So what is your thoughts around this as you've been following this for years now and everything? So what is your take on what's going on?
Mark, Trump is president for about 8 months now. What has he done in 8 months to come even close to any meaningful negotiation?
It was supposed to be all fixed on day one. Don't we believe him? Or is it more lies from Trump and bullshit?
Well, it's no longer a question of believing Trump. I don't think that anybody believes Trump at all.
I'm gonna keep harping on the idiots that voted for him, thinking that he was gonna solve all these problems.
Okay, carry on.
I just actually, Sasha, because I'm in agreement with you on this whole Russia thing, and I just want to put it in a different light. Because my question is, why do we keep saying that Trump is brokering peace? He's having to be drugged to the table and trying to get him not to give every bit of Ukraine away. He's doing Putin's bidding, saying everything Putin wants him to say. But we're saying that Trump is brokering a peace deal. How does that work when you have Macron and all the other individuals trying to convince him to do this particular thing? They deserve a Nobel Peace Prize more so than Trump does.
Wait a sec. Let's come back to say around February, shortly after he became president. It was a Trump's plan to have a ceasefire for 30 days, during which they will discuss all other relevant peace agreements. Now, both Putin and Zelensky were against this plan for various reasons. Putin was afraid that the U.S. and the Western Europe, they will supply Ukraine during this month with enormous amount of ammunition and weapons, and so Ukraine will become much stronger as a result. And Zelensky was afraid that Putin will have a month to have a massive mobilization, and Russia will become even more formidable and so on. Now, starting with famous meeting in Oval Office in February and a couple of more meetings, Zelensky yielded, and I think it was in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia or somewhere, he yielded to Trump's plan and agreed to a ceasefire. So now it was both Trump and Zelensky throughout all the several months passing from that, they agreed to a ceasefire. So the one who doesn't agree to ceasefire is Putin. So Trump coming with the ultimatum, 50 days, that Russia either will agree to ceasefire or there will be a very strong the action, including tariffs, including all kind of peripheral or secondary action against India, China, and the other countries. Well, then he changed time. He sort of cut it only to 10, 12 days. So the deadline was now the new deadline on August the 8th. So the deadline has been passed. Is there any action that you know, whether it's tariffs or whether there are secondary sanctions or just anything? Nothing at all is happening. So Trump is allying a president whose every word doesn't have to do anything with the reality. If you'll take the second meeting, which was yesterday, with Zelensky and all the European or most of the European leaders, it was a competition of all kind of praises of Trump. What a great president he is. How much he's done for the peace in Ukraine. What exactly did he do for the peace in Ukraine? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He allowed Putin for 8 months to kill Ukrainian children, women, and of course men, without any punishment or constraints whatsoever. This is a Trump's strategy. His strategy is he's not interested in peace in Ukraine. Actually, if American people got anything out of yesterday's meetings, is the commitment of Europeans to buy up to $100 billion worth of weapons. That's really something. That what will benefit American people and American economy. Mind you, it may not bring Trump a Nobel Prize. So be it. I mean, okay, what he wants to be in the company of Yasser Arafat, it was a Nobel Peace Prize. I doubt it, but maybe I'm wrong on the other hand.
Well, there's somebody else who might get a Nobel Peace Prize, and Rick, you'll enjoy this one, and it's one of the other stories that came out of the world of science, and then we get ready to wrap up, like I said, in about 10 minutes, but it looks like scientists are proposing turning nuclear waste from the nuclear plants into potentially safe nuclear fuel. So this is something that's coming out of Los Alamos, and we know Los Alamos also is in the news sometimes because of aliens kind of stuff. And all
that's Roswell. Los Alamos is the city that was built to build the atomic bomb 80 years ago.
You are correct.
But, yeah, there's a new generation of nuclear reactors that eats the waste from the old school nuclear. I mean, the major problem with reactors is that once you've depleted your fuel, you still have this highly radioactive stuff that you have to put someplace where bad people can't get at it, where it can't leak into the water and poison people. So if you are able to build reactors that further deplete the uranium, that's a great thing.
Yep.
I read Prometheus, I think American Prometheus story about Oppenheimer, and great book. I just watched the movie actually just a couple of days ago. I meant to watch it much earlier, but just got around to it. Again, great movie. It pretty much matched up pretty well with the book. Every American should know about that history. Again,
If we had to do it again, knowing what we know now, I'm not sure that we
it's a
would
tough
have
call.
even.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
I mean, so we
I don't know.
developed Einstein, and Leo Szilard went to FDR saying you've got to build this super weapon, because if Germany does it and we don't, then the world is screwed. Well, it turns out, Germany's anti-Jewish Zionist policies chased away a lot of the talent that could have helped Germany build an atomic bomb. Plus, the people in place kind of dragged their feet. They didn't really love the idea of Hitler having so anyway, they never came close. Germany never came close to getting the atomic bomb during World War II.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, Rick, I thought I had heard rumors way back when that there was supposed, and mostly conspiracy theorists and everything, alien encounters near Los Alamos. So it wasn't just Roswell. There were some rumors around stuff around Los Alamos as well, because I thought I'd heard that before and everything. So I just wanted to double check. So I got
It could have been a smoke screen during Los Alamos.
Could have been.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? But yeah, apparently they were saying there were several supposed UFO sightings and potential extraterrestrial encounters near Los Alamos.
So a question I have is, we didn't have the atomic bomb until August of 1945, when the war in Europe was already over. But we dropped 2 atomic bombs on Asian people. If we'd had the atomic bomb 6 months earlier, would we have dropped this terrible weapon on white people in Europe?
Counterfactual. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
as opposed to dropping them on the Japanese. I got you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we dropped them on, dropped it on and who knows? I kind of think, if we had it would have been great to have the atomic bomb for D-Day in 1944 to just turn the beaches into radioactive glass and, let the troops just, because we lost a bunch of people invading France on D-Day, Normandy. If we'd had a couple of atomic bombs to just clean out the Germans, we would have irradiated a lot of soldiers, but that's better than being dead on the beach.
It's much better than being dead. Hey, speaking of that, and we only got about a few more minutes, I'm going to get to a light story, but I'm going to ask you about it, Rick, and everything along those lines, because, there was a lot of talk, and folks have been trying to figure out when Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce will ever get married, or if they'll get married, and whether she'll be following him around this year and everything. But apparently there is a new pop star quarterback dating rumor going around that is the Chargers quarterback there in Los Angeles and the singer Madison Beer. So I was wondering, are you hearing a lot about this? Because apparently there's just a rumor that they are an item and everything along those lines. So what are your thoughts around this?
I don't keep up. My wife hogs the
Who
People
cares?
We get
Who
People
cares?
magazine,
Who
but I
cares?
can't read it until my wife reads it first. So I miss out on a lot of celebrity gossip.
Who cares?
Yeah, and a lot of it is mindless stuff that goes on. People are always in towns following, as Toby knows, the Big Brother kind of stuff, and that show's been going on forever. And folks are trying to figure out who's going to get ousted out of the house and who's going to stay in the house. So a lot of times people, I think, use those things.
Americans spend, and people in general spend too much time on this crap rather than focusing on more serious stuff.
Good point and everything like that. So we'll hear what folks have got to say about that and all along those lines. You got any news out of the world of tech and all along those lines, Utopia, before we get ready to get on out of here? Because I just touched on one of the entertainment news and some technology news, but anything that you've been following in your specialty area?
I mean, Google I/O starts tomorrow.
Okay.
That'll be Google releasing their Pixel 10 and stuff like that. Then next month, September, Apple will do theirs. So you'll have, again, the Google Pixel versus the iPhone. Samsung already did theirs. They do theirs at the beginning of the year. I mean, so nothing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, right now everybody's paying. Well, there's another one. Bitcoin lost a lot of money the other day, and Sasha just left. I was going to ask him about that, but Bitcoin tanked because people are the U.S.
Well, you
ended
spoke
up not
about Google, but
backing
you spoke about Google, and apparently there was a last-minute Google leak which revealed their new charger, their Pickle Snap, and everything like that. So I guess sometimes these things are out before they want them to be out. And apparently there's a event goes on. I'm surprised you're not there, called Gamescom, and their opening night was, I guess, yesterday and everything like that. So it looks like they might be finding out what's going on in the world.
Gamescom is going on. There's Future Fest that's happening. There's tons of stuff that's happening. I mean, but again, the big thing right now in the tech world, in the tech industry, is Google I/O, which happens tomorrow, which will release all their ecosystem for this year.
Let's drag it back to Trump. There's a New Yorker article about Trump has gained $3 billion in net worth since he got elected this last time, and much of it is through crypto. Trump is part, and his family are part of 5 different Bitcoin type, meme coin, cyber coin, 5 different cybercoin scams that will pump and dump and cost the suckers billions of bucks that Trump will end up making, not including Melania's coin, cyber coin.
Yeah, and part of my fun, I guess, in watching this is the people that are buying this crap, mostly Republicans.
Well, no, if you look on Twitter, there's a huge overlap between Trump supporters and people who are into cyber.
Right, that's my point. Eventually, eventually these scams will be implode, and who's going to get hurt? Republicans and actually the poor.
So with Bitcoin, what ended up happening is that Trump courted the Bitcoin bros. He went to those functions. He also did the Joe Rogan was backing him. Joe Rogan pushes Bitcoin. All these, it's a male dominated section, and it's a rah. It's all guy this. And I mean, don't get me wrong. There's other stuff there, but mainly it's there's the Bitcoin bros. All these individuals push that, and that's what Trump courted during the actual election.
Right, and these scams are going to hurt again.
Oh yeah,
not Democrats. I mean, it's going to be mostly them. And good luck. I wish them all the best.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.